Swadika, good morning and welcome to Newsline. It's Wednesday's edition, the 29th of January 2014. I'm Chalapansa Narula. Thank you very much for joining us. Let's have a look at today's top stories. The Center for Maintaining Peace and Order, or the CMPO, said that if the negotiations with the anti-government protesters to reopen government offices fail, security personnel are prepared to reclaim their sites. But first, let's have a look at this story. The Government and Election Commission, or the EC, decided to move ahead with the 2nd February election. The government said it had no power to delay the polls, while the EC asked for the government to deal with obstructions to the election. Deputy Prime Minister Pongthep Kanchana and EC Chairman Kun Somchaiศรีสุทธิยากรtogether announced results of the meeting between the government and the Commission on election delay. Mr. Pongthep said the two parties still disagreed on the matter since the government believed that election postponement was not a solution to the political standoff. The EC, however, believed problems would arise if the poll was arranged on the 2nd February as planned. The Election Commission eventually consented to continue to organize the national poll on the 2nd of February. The Deputy Minister confirmed the government was ready to provide full support for the EC in line with the laws and it avoid using force to tackle disruption. Meanwhile, Kun Somchaiศรีสุทธิยากร said it would take longer than 4 to 6 months until there were enough MPs to open a parliamentary session. Furthermore, all votes for partyless MPs could not be counted if just one polling station failed to arrange the election or count votes. Mr. Somchai said the EC would organize by-elections for 83 constituencies, which cancelled their absentee polls on the 26th of January. A supporter of the People's Democratic Reform Committee, or PDRC, was shot while joining the protest in front of the Royal Thai Army Club. The gunman was later captured and found to be a police officer. According to reports, as the PDRC was staging a protest outside the Royal Thai Army Club on Vipawadi Rangsit Road, two suspicious men appeared on the opposite side of the road. PDRC guards and supporters therefore ran up to them in a bid to identify who they were, but the group was met with bullets. The Erawan Emergency Medical Service Centre revealed that a 32-year-old protester was rushed to Ramathipati Hospital after being wounded on the scene. Doctors had to give him an operation immediately as a bullet had reportedly punched through his stomach. One of the two gunmen managed to escape, whereas the other was chased after by the PDRC guards and was eventually captured. However, the man was severely injured in a melee and was sent to Ratchavithi Hospital. He was later identified as Police Senior Sergeant Major Kongpet Kanha of the Metropolitan Police Division 2. The Center for Maintaining Peace and Order made known that if negotiations with anti-government protesters to reopen government offices fail, security personnel are prepared to reclaim the sites by February the 3rd. Department of Special Investigation Chief Tharit Pengdit, in his capacity as the CMPO board member, said the agency will only enter into talks with the PDRC until January 31st. If both parties do not reach an agreement by this Friday, the CMPO will be forced to take back key offices. Police and Royal Armed Forces will be recruited for the operation. Mr. Tharit confirmed that there will be no use of force to disperse protesters. The CMPO had also sent letters warning major corporations finally backing the PDRC to cease their support or risk facing legal action. The Anti-Money Laundering Office has been assigned to launch probes into companies on the list that are involved in money laundering through the protest group. The Criminal Court has decided to turn down a petition previously filed by the DSI for arrest warrants against core leaders of the PDRC. The Criminal Court opened a hearing to deliberate the DSI's request for arrest warrants against a total of 16 PDRC core leaders alleged of violating the Executive Decree on Public Administration in Emergency Situations. Among the 16 are Mr. Suthep Thuk Suban, Mr. Sathit Wong Nong Tey, Mr. Chumpon Julasai, Mr. Isara Somchai, and also Mr. Thawon Seniam. Based on the testimony by the DSI's witnesses, the court resolved not to issue any arrest warrants just yet, claiming there was not sufficient evidence that the 16 individuals had breached the special law. Human Rights Watch has called for protest leaders in Thailand to cease their obstruction of the election process, as it is a violation of a basic human right under democratic principles. Sunai Pasuk, advisor to Human Rights Watch, spoke of the holding of the general election by the EC of Thailand on a radio program on Tuesday. He said he was saddened by the performance of the EC, which had allowed citizens with voting rights to have their rights diminished. According to Kun Sunai, the recent developments were the most severe impediments to an election process that ever occurred in Thailand. He added that the right to vote reflected an equality of rights among people, and the entire population of the country was being punished by the acts of the groups obstructing the election. A statement on the Human Rights Watch website also called on anti-government protest leaders to stop the obstruction of the voting process in Bangkok and other provinces, although it also called on state officials to allow peaceful protests. Meanwhile, Brad Adams, Asia Director of Human Rights Watch, noted the protesters claim they are fighting corruption and seeking reforms, but this does not justify the use of force and intimidation to block voting. Preventing people from casting ballots shows serious contempt for basic rights of voters and democratic principles. Many groups of Thai people in various provinces performed candlelit ceremonies in gesture of support for the general election and peace. Donning white clothes, a group of people in Ayutthaya gathered in front of King Naresuan's monument to light candles in a bid to voice their disagreement to all forms of violence and the support to the general election. Similar event took place in Pachi district, where around 500 villages and Tambon chiefs released white balloons in their call for unity and peace. In Ratchaburi province, a group of government supporters took to the streets using amplifiers to encourage voters to exercise voting rights and to oppose military coups. In Bangkok, meanwhile, several groups of people who supported the February 2nd general election gathered near the Yingjaran market to call on eligible voters to exercise their rights. The supporters were seen holding up signs that said, "Go vote." These groups will again on January 31st gather at Bang Khaen police station to show their stance. Suvarnabhumi Airport assured the public that a luggage which caught fire early Tuesday morning did not contain a bomb. Suvarnabhumi Director Kun Raviwan Netra Kawesana said that after initial inspection, it was found that the luggage contained phosphorus-rich urea fertilizer, which was believed to have self-combusted. The item burst into flames on the conveyor belt of Bangkok Airways prior to being loaded onto a flight heading to Phnom Penh. Airline staff were able to put the fire out in time using a nearby extinguisher. The owner of the luggage, Pongkan Kosit Thamanan, told authorities that the products were set to be used in a demonstration which is in Phnom Penh, Cambodia. Airport police collected evidence from the scene and are preparing to launch a more thorough investigation into the matter. Transport Minister Chachcha Siripan commented on the incident, confirming that the incident is not politically related and security procedures at the airport would have prevented the luggage from being loaded onto the plane. The University of the Thai Chamber of Commerce has indicated that the ongoing political unrest in Thailand is deepening worries among trade partner countries, prompting them to reduce orders with Thai entrepreneurs. National Trade Studies stated that a survey was recently conducted on 2,000 businesses in 13 categories in an effort to gauge their readiness for the intensifying competition within ASEAN. The survey results suggested that about 30% of SME businesses had felt the pinch from the political turmoil, given customers overseas were doubtful about Thai exporters' ability to deliver goods on time under the current circumstances. Many importers have opted to place orders with Thailand's competitors instead. On the other hand, the other 70% confirmed they had not been impacted by political problems, thanks to their customers' continued confidence. They added that the exportation of products could still go on and the manufacturing plants were not located in protest areas. If the protest drags on further, Thailand's ranking in terms of SMEs' overall competitiveness compared to ASEAN neighbours could fall from the 3rd place in 2013 to the 5th this year. The Office of Vocational Education Commission disclosed the progress on English program and mini English program in vocational schools under its jurisdiction. The implementation of English programs aims to prepare students for the integration of ASEAN Economic Community in 2015. Dr. Chayapruk Serirak, the VEC Secretary General, stated that the implementations of the English program, or EP, in various subjects except for Thai language and social study, as well as the mini English program in 4 subjects for each semester since 2012, proved to be a success with great interest from many students. In 2012, the programs had seen around 2,000 students enroll in 19 subjects in 32 vocational schools across the country, which led to expansion of 106 more vocational schools with 25 subjects offered in 2013, with more than 3,000 students. For this year, there are many more vocational schools submitting requests to implement EP and the mini EP as part of their curriculums. In order to ensure quality of the program, the VEC would only allow a total of 150 vocational schools nationwide to participate in the programs, which means that there could only be 12 more vocational schools that offered the English programs and the mini English programs this year. Each class is limited to no more than 30 students. We'll now take a break. Coming up next, the Election Commission has advised the government to extend its diesel excise tax reduction for 1 more month. Stay tuned.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติแล้วมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. Now to the business news. The Election Commission has advised the government to extend its diesel excise tax reduction for 1 month at a time, saying a longer tax cut might create unfairness in the general election. Deputy spokesperson of the Prime Minister's office, Kun Chalitrat Chantru Beksa, said the cabinet meeting agreed to prolong the diesel oil excise tax decrease of 0.005 baht per litre for another month, from the 1st of February until the 28th of February, as requested by the Ministry of Finance. The government had earlier intended to lengthen the tax cut for 3 months, but later decided to shorten the extension to 1 month after the EC showed signs of disapproval. According to the Ministry of Finance, the diesel excise tax cut will help stabilize diesel price, lower the cost of living, and benefit the country's economic growth. The state-owned Islamic Bank of Thailand has reportedly made a profit of 2.7 billion baht in the 2013 fiscal year. According to iBank's managing director, Dr. Kanchit Singh Suwan, the bank was able to generate 2.7 billion baht worth of profit last year, which comprises 700 million baht from operations and 2 billion baht from restructuring its non-performing financing, or NPF. At the end of 2013, the iBank reported a 29% decrease in its NPF. That's down from 43 billion baht to 33 billion. It is also determined to lower the figures even further while planning to maintain its deposits, credit lending, and internal infrastructure. In 2014, the bank has set a target to increase its credit lending by 13 billion baht and its deposits by 25 billion baht. It also has plans to issue the Sukuk bond that's worth as much as 5 billion baht in the fourth quarter in order to finance its business expansion. 658 flights will be added at the Suvarnabhumi airport during the Chinese New Year this year, with more than 2 million passengers expected, according to the airport's projection. Suvarnabhumi Director Raviwan Netra Kawesana said that the airport was expected to accommodate around 2.03 million passengers, or 156,336 people a day during the Chinese New Year, from the 27th of January until the 8th of February. This number of passengers was lower than the same period last year by 0.64%. Among the 658 additional flights, 602 of them were international flights and the rest domestic. Most of the flights were from China. The airport festively decorated the interior of its passenger terminal buildings and would organize special activities to welcome tourists from China, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Singapore from the 30th till the 31st of January. Due to political rallies in Bangkok and their effects on road traffic, Suvarnabhumi Airport recommends passengers to arrive at the airport 4 hours before departure and use electric trains instead of cars. Thai stocks closed at their lowest in more than 2 weeks yesterday amid rising political tensions ahead of the February 2nd election. The key Thai SET index dropped 1.3% to 1,271.79 points, its lowest close since January 10th. Shares of airport operator, Airports of Thailand, and Siam Commercial Bank were among those actively traded. Stock exchange data showed foreign investors offloaded 3.3 billion baht of Thai shares yesterday, adding to Monday's 3.35 billion baht. Before we take a break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and the commodity prices.
Open the world of information. Embrace public participation. Present Thainess to the world. New dimension of the government's public relations. The 80th anniversary of the Public Relations Department. Creative media for the society. Mobilizing Thailand towards the ASEAN community.
เมื่อมนุษย์ทำลายสมดุลทางธรรมชาติแล้วมนุษย์ก็เป็นผู้ประสบภัยพิบัติจากธรรมชาติร่วมสร้างอนาคตลดภัยพิบัติระดมพลังพลิกฟื้นคืนผืนป่าในทุกชุมชนทั่วประเทศ
For those who have Android smartphones, you can download a PRD News application by searching for PRD News English in Play Store. That way, you can stay up to date with the latest happenings in Thailand.
Welcome back to Newsline. Yala officers are beefing up security ahead of the Chinese New Year festival to prevent insurgent attacks. As the Chinese New Year is approaching, Yala authorities have been on a 24-hour alert and patrol units have been deployed in various areas. At a market in Yala City Municipality, a team of soldiers along with sniffer dogs have been inspecting vehicles entering the area to prevent possible bomb attacks, as well as to build confidence among the locals. Security measures at checkpoints have also been strengthened. Authorities are to thoroughly search everyone, belongings and vehicles, as well as motorcycles passing through the checkpoints in a bid to prevent violent incidents from occurring in communities and crowded places. Chinese New Year is celebrated worldwide to mark the first day of the new year in the Chinese calendar. This year, the special occasion, the Year of the Horse, falls on 31st of January. The Royal Forestry of Thailand has held a campaign in Nan province to deter the burning of forests in order to preserve nature and promote clean air. The campaign was presided over by the governor of Nan, with more than 1,000 locals attending. The objective of the event is to promote and instill a deep understanding of the effects and harms the burning of local forests can cause. The Royal Forestry of Thailand is working in cooperation with 9 other provinces, including Chiang Rai, Phayao, Nan, Phrae, Lamphun, Lampang, Chiang Mai, Mae Hong Son, and Tak. The campaign is set to run from January 22nd until February 10th in order to promote the conservation of nature and deter people from burning forests to clear land for agricultural use. To Chiang Mai now, the Chiang Mai Zoo official said on Tuesday Lin Hui, the panda, did not have a miscarriage and that ultrasound confirmed the fetus was in good state. According to Dr. Boripat Siri Arunrat, head of the panda reproduction research team at Chiang Mai Zoo, the ultrasound scan on Lin Hui has succeeded in locating a complete fetus that looks in good health. The embryo sac also contains amniotic fluid, as it should. The expert said the fetus's pulse was not detected, but this was not of concern because it was usually detected when nearing delivery. The fetus was found to be 7 centimeters in length. Dr. Boripat said Lin Hui was 121 days pregnant as of Tuesday, and that usually pandas gave birth around the 130th day. However, it was difficult to ascertain when Lin Hui would deliver, citing an example of a case in China where a panda was pregnant for 324 days. Alarm over miscarriage had been raised recently after Lin Hui did not go into labor at the time zoo officials initially expected. Thai Nhat Bird Park has unveiled its last 25 beautiful contenders competing for the Miss Thai Nhat Bird Park 2014. Both locals and tourists are invited to witness the final round on February 7th. According to the park, 25 out of 61 candidates nationwide have been qualified for the Miss Thai Nhat Bird Park 2014 competition. The winner, to be handpicked by a panel of judges comprising respected members of the society, will be awarded with a crown, a sash, and 500,000 baht cash. On February 5th and 6th, these contenders will join various activities to promote Thai Nhat Province and its bird park, as well as to rehearse for the final round of the competition. The final round will take place in front of the province's City Hall on February 7th, starting 7 p.m. The contest is also part of Thai Nat's annual event, Strawbird and Red Cross Fair, which will be held during the 7th till the 16th, that is. Once again, it will be held from February 7th till the 16th this year. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. If you have any suggestions or comments, please write to us. The email address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. We'll be taking you to Phuket now to see a lively atmosphere as Chinese Thais come out to celebrate ahead of the upcoming Lunar New Year Festival. Thank you very much for spending part of your day with us. I'm Cholapan Sanarula. Sawasdee ka.